In this video, I'm going to show you the 4-step process that we use in order to analyze our products for Amazon FBA business and why it's important to go through this order and follow the steps exactly. So think of this as your crash course analysis because this is the exact process that we use to sell over $2 million in total sales and something that you can use immediately after watching this video to improve your Amazon FBA business. So part 1 is you want to make sure that you are approved or ungated to sell the brand or product itself. The reason you want to do that is because you don't want to waste any time digging into how much profit you can make, what is the competition, if you can't sell it in the first place. So you can use a software like SellerAmp because, for example, like this product here, if you go through eligible, it says you are eligible to sell this product. On the other hand, if you are not approved or you're still gated to sell the brand, you will say you are not eligible to sell this product. So that's why this is really important before we dig deep into the analysis, or else you're just going to be wasting your time. So if you're having trouble or just want to learn how you can start selling these big name brands like Nike, Lego, or Lululemon, definitely check out the video that I had made on how to start selling these brands and going through the ungating process. So step 2 is we are going to use software to determine what is the worst case scenario or the break-even price in terms of this product. And so the software that we're going to be using first is going to be OS Stock Addon. It's a free Google Chrome extension. Highly recommend if you're an Amazon seller to download this. Again, it's a free Chrome extension. The second software is my favorite software that we're going to use is SellerAmp. So to get started with the product analysis, the first thing I look for when I look at a potential product is what is the break-even price, because that's going to give me an idea or an overview where we need to be at the buy cost in order to be profitable. So looking at the product right here on the left-hand controller for the Oculus Quest 2, if you hover through profit with the SellerAmp, I need to be at $84.49 in order to be profitable. So if we do buy this product for $84.49, that is the break even, right? That is like one of the worst case scenario that I am doing analysis on my head in order to get started, okay? So I know for a fact that if I get it below that buy cost, it's going to be profitable. So let's go and take a look here. This is where I can potentially purchase it right here, right at meta.com. That's the official website where the Oculus is made. So if I do add it to the bag here with the left controller, my buy cost is going to be $74.99. So let's go ahead and plug it into SellerAmp right here. So $74.99. Okay, our profit is going to be $9.50 with the 12% ROI. This is the sale price right here. Actually, let's match the buy box, which is $109.20. Okay, so $109.20. We were able to increase our ROI into 14%, $10.52 profit. Now, this is just the base of information. We're going through the buy box that's currently advertised, okay? So now this is where the OS Stock Addon comes into handy. I love to use it because I can see what competition is out there, how much price they're selling for, how many they have in stock. So it gives me a overview of where the competition lays. So let's go ahead and click check more offers here and let that refresh to see what we have going on. So after refreshing here, as you can see, there's a total of 17 offers in terms of other people selling this product. 11 offers are in terms of Amazon FBA, and the rest are going to be FBM. So we're going to focus on FBA because that is the main part of the business. So as you can see, these are the quantities and the list price right here. What's really cool about OS Stock Addon that I don't think any softwares other provide is you see this little red asterisk right here. That means they had put a stock limit in terms of how many they have quantity. So it prevents other sellers to see how many they're actually selling in terms of per month units. So you can see right here, if you see a red asterisk, it means the offer has a limit, so we cannot see the total quantity in stock. So when you are doing analysis, we're gonna use Keep On a little bit, is that it really makes it harder for someone to analyze it. So that's what the red asterisk means. So you wanna make sure that you are seeing this, because if you're looking at SellerAmp right here, it does not tell you that right off the bat. So you're gonna have to dig deep a little bit. This is why we use different softwares, because not one software is gonna give you the hard 100% data that you need. We have to kind of use other softwares and gather all of them in order for us to make the best decision when we're investing in these products to sell for our business, right? So let's go ahead and take a look into the SellerAmp right here. Now we have the competition and see where we're at. And also, by the way, One OS stock add-on, my favorite, is in terms of the delivery here. Sometimes OS stock add-on will show when those products are going to be available. For instance, if someone is not available till like, you know, June 10th, right? Even though they may have the lowest price, they're not going to get the buy box per se. So now let's go into the seller amp here and how we can use it in terms of our analysis. So right here on the quick info, as you can see, we already had put our cost price at $74.99, right? And that's the buy box right there. What I like about it is it shows you the estimated sales. So it sells about 2,000 units per month, which is pretty good. The BSR is 408. As long as you're in that 1%, it's pretty good in terms of, as a beginner, when you start finding products that you want to sell fast. That's why softwares like Seller Amp just makes it easier, because everything here is at a glance. Okay, you can even see the max cost here, what you need to be at in order to be a reference, in order to be the break-even price. We talked about if you're eligible, and you can even see alerts on the right side here. So if there's anything you need to know that is not good about the product, whether they send IP alerts, which is, you know, a complaint from the brand itself, or if it's a hazmat product that needs extra requirement, the alert tab section here is going to let you know right off the bat. And scrolling down into the analysis of the ranks and products, this is where it really gets helpful, and you can use it in terms of going through general process, because this is the current data here, right? So if we go back to the 90 days, basically the last 3 months of the average of the products, the buy box itself was $112.94. So we can safely sell at that price because these are all average, right? Of course, there's the extremes. Someone might have sold it a little bit cheaper. Someone might have sold it a little bit higher, right? But in the middle of the average, because numbers don't lie, these are going to be the safe bet that we can use in order to make a decision moving forward before we start purchasing this. So let's go ahead and type in 112.94. Okay, so you can see we're slowly improving the ROI and kind of helping our average in order to make a better decision here. The last month, the buy box was 110, okay? So it's a little bit lower. So 111 is gonna be like right in the middle, okay? We're just using this as kind of like estimates where we need to be. Again, these are really helpful in terms of that. So now let's go ahead and go through the Keepa chart on how we can start digging deeper into the numbers here. So part 3 is going to be analyzing the Keepa chart here, because that's going to be a much more detailed information alongside with OS stock add-on and Seller Amp that we had already used as our profit calculator. So if you are a more visual learner like I am, I love using Keepa because I can see what's going on out there. So we go into the Keepa chart right here, right? So by the way, guys, if you haven't learned how to use Keepa properly, I did make a full detailed video step-by-step where I deep dive into every single features of Keepa. So definitely check it out after this video if you want to learn more and to be a master sourcer. But anyways, looking at the Keepa glance right here, right? I can go back to 3 months to the past year, what's really going on, and just stepping back, looking over a glance. I mean, it's a pretty flat Keepa chart. If you look at the overview right here, this is the buy box where I'm kind of referring at the pink little line. So it has a little increases there, little spikes. That's where you see the single lines out there, but nothing too crazy, right? But however, if you look under the competition, there are different spikes of competition, right? Where, let's go ahead and remove some of these things so that way we can just focus on the offer count, which is the blue right here. So at the lowest, it went through 39, 42. Then at the peak, there were 153 sellers. So there's a lot of sellers that you're competing with. Good thing about this is that it sells a lot per month, right? So a simple math that you can do in terms of analysis is, let's say 2,000 just to be safe. And at the worst case scenario, that's what we're analyzing here, it had 160 sellers. So divide 160 sellers. You can still approximately sell about 12 units, 13 units per month, right? And if you go through this buy cost here at $12 profit, let's go ahead and multiply by 12 because that is the profit we have here at Seller Amp based on the sale price and buy cost. Is we're gonna about make $150 per month, right? Again, this is just like rough estimates that we're using as our analysis here. And what's nice about is Keepa did update their information as well. So you can see in the middle part here, this is the monthly sold, the gold number here. So Keepa is saying that it's selling 1,000 per month. Seller Amp is selling that it's 2,000 per month. So now we're kind of at a conflict of which data do we use. So the best part in order to really find out, to have a better idea, is to go through the data part right here. So if you can see the data tab, you have the product details right here, which is going to show you the same average as the seller amp because they all grab the same data. But what really differentiates Keepa from among the rest is the offer count here and how detailed it really is. So let's go ahead and go through the offer tabs right here. So what I like to do under the offers tab is hit new, because we're only going to sell new products, right? In terms of that, Prime equals Amazon FBA, okay? Or you can do FBA only, but I like to use Prime. And we want to include the historical offers because we want to know what's going on in the past in order to predict the future. So remember that, look at the past in order to predict the future. History is super useful. And I like to go through the sold past 30 days and just kind of sort from there, okay? Now, some of these data in terms of the stock count are not accurate. Nothing is guaranteed. So we kind of have to use this based on our decisions here, okay? So let's go zoom in here, for example, like LH Direct, okay? So you can see at one point on May 9th, they had 25 in stock. As you can see, there's a sudden drop here to 1 unit and then back to 4, okay? They had 2 here. So, but approximately the past 30 days, they had sold 60 units, okay? And right over here is the price history. Now, let's look at another seller here, okay? So another seller we're looking at, we're gonna zoom in, is they had 48 in stock here. Now, what I like about this seller right here, or the stock history, is that it's slowly, gradually indicating in its stock is going down, okay? It's not like just a sudden drop. So that tells me that these are actual sales, because it's harder to tell a data if you can just see a sudden drop in terms of the information. Let me see if I can find one here. Like for this, for example, right here, right? It goes from 7 to 1. It's a lot harder for me to determine and make a decision if that's the amount of units that really sold per month there, okay? So what I like to see is gradual steps in terms of their stock count. That's gonna be the best way to determine if something is really selling. So this right here, so it goes from 14, 11, 7, 1. It's much more realistic information, okay? So I just wanna see something like that is really selling. But if you really wanna dig deep, is in terms of buy box statistics. If you use the information from the buy box statistics in order to how much price, what's the highest target, because we want to make sure we can get the maximum amount of money, right? Especially if we can't buy a lot of quantities. So like, let's say for example, we can only buy 10 quantities for this, okay? Which is common in online arbitrage. We want to maximize our profit because we had already put in the time, we're only getting limited quantities. So there's no reason for us to give these items away, and that's pretty much our hard work since we can't purchase more of it at the current moment, okay? So what I like to do is go through under buy box statistics here and sort out through the average price, okay? I want to look for the highest available buy box price that someone had sold in terms of history. Of course, you can get sales that are not advertised in the buy box, but again, we're using data in order to predict the future of the price we can get. This is why it's part of our product analysis. So 114 right here, it's kind of like the highest price that the buy box had recorded. Okay, with that, we're making $14.60, 19. Our minimum for our team is 20% ROI. Of course, that can vary. As a beginner, I highly recommend that you set your ROI as high as possible. You know, I would say like 30% or above, okay? Since we're doing a little bit more volume, multi-million in sales per year, we are allowed to kind of play with the numbers a little bit. Again, that comes with experience, right? So this is something that we may go through because it does have a lot of sales or units per month. So 114, what are the chances that we're gonna get this buy box? Okay, so it's saying here that it's less than 1% of the buy box price, okay? And this was 28 days ago. Now, if we look at this other person here, 113 and 36, okay, let's go ahead and do that. They want 2% off the buy box, which was 7 days ago, okay? So that's a much more realistic number that we can certainly get. We can, of course, sell it at 114 and still get possibly part of the buy box, okay? And again, we might have to wait a little bit. So that's why it's really important to do this to see what's going on. So with that, 7 days ago, 113 and 36 cents, we're pretty close to the ROI where we're looking at here. But if you really want to see who's winning the buy box, you need to price at least around 111 in order to get a bigger share of the buy box. But again, if you're only getting a small percentage, I want the most profit I can get. So for me and my team would probably price it around 114, okay? Especially if we can't buy a lot of units, as we had talked about. I can't type here, okay? 114, okay? So the reason for that is, as you can see, this competition right here, they only have a few units in stock. And if you can see through the seller amp right here, let me just go ahead and load more. So with all the offers loaded up right here, as you can see under seller amp, if we are pricing it 114, the highest advertised on the buy box, we have to go through 117 units in stock, which is fine if you can't buy a lot, because if you think about the estimated sales, whether that's 2,000 or 1,000, no matter what, you're gonna get that sales, okay? Because if you have to think about it, when you're purchasing something from online arbitrage, right? Let's say we order this Meta Quest controller from Facebook, right? It will come to my house, I don't know, 3 days, 2 days max, right? But then I have to prepare that product and send it to Amazon FBA. And to really understand what the cycle is, it will usually take about 1 to 2 weeks before you sending the item to Amazon FBA, it goes to their fulfillment centers or different warehouse before it becomes live on Amazon and where someone can purchase it. So what I'm thinking here or anticipating is that by the time my item checks in, you know, again, 1 to 2 weeks is the average check-in time, some of these products are gonna start selling, okay? So my hope is when I get my product live on Amazon, instead of 117 offers that I have to wait, maybe it's 50 or 60 or even less than that. So this is where the anticipation really comes in. And a lot of mistakes beginners do is try to match the buy box exactly. It doesn't make sense, because if your item is still on its way to Amazon, you don't want it to sell out already, because you're just leaving money on the table, especially if you can't purchase a lot of units. And I'm really emphasizing that if you're doing Amazon FBA online arbitrage method. Now, if you're doing wholesale that you can purchase, you know, a lot of this, yes, you might go through the volume play in terms of that, okay, to accept a lower ROI, because you can move a lot of volumes, because that is the wholesale game pretty much. So it's a lot of stuff going on that you need to kind of go through, or obstacles along the way. So it's really important that you maximize and know what the cycle, like anticipating it to get the best price possible. And remember, with through analysis and just repetition, because we know that repetition is the mother of skill. A lot of this is gonna start coming second nature to you the more you do it. So guys, keep on practicing. And if you wanna learn the best products of what to sell on Amazon FBA as a beginner, check this video right here. And also don't forget, I have a free newsletter that you can sign up down below, and a free Discord community where you can join and talk to other Amazon FBA sellers. So definitely check out the links down below. Thank you guys. See you in the next one.